My name is Chris Claremont. You're watching Omni X-Men.
Yes, that's right. You are watching Omni X-Men, and this time I have internet. Fingers crossed that I stay here for a little bit longer, at least for the hour. What's up, everybody? Justin here, aka No Good Comics. Welcome back to the channel. Yes, we're talking Omni X-Men. We are talking X-Men issue number 183. For those of you who might have saw last week's episode, we are a week behind. We had to delay that one or reschedule it to this week. So if you're just catching up or figuring out what happened, we essentially, I had internet issues based on the storm last week. So we are doing this over again. So kind of the redo show as I've listed it here. So really excited to kick it off again. Hopefully we have this go friendly throughout the night as far as the internet goes. But of course, let me bring in my special guest, my co-host John from John's Comics Book. Yeah, all right, there. This guy. Oh, you're muted.
I was a little frozen there.
Yeah, you were a little. What's up, John? We got internet tonight, baby. We're back. That deserves a.
Screw you, AOL.
Yeah. Yeah, I had to get rid of that stuff. I had to finally give it up. No more AOL.
How's the weather though? How you doing? Are you how negatives are you in the negatives at all up there?
It's cold. Yeah, it's pretty cold. Yeah. It's close. We just got hit with snow and ice. Yeah, it's warm there. I'm glad to hear.
I was at a soccer game where legit it was like 50 something degrees out, and there was a mom with a propane tank and 2 heaters aimed at her, and I thought, this is California. Welcome to California, right there. I'm like, lady, just put on, just stop wearing sandals. But she still had them. She still had the sandals going.
Can't wait to visit out there and see all that one day. All right, we have back with us again, back to back Omni X-Men. Technically the first time ever, even though the last.
I think that we don't count Chet.
We can't, we can't count Chet. Our special guest back again, our good friend Stu. What is up, Stu?
Hey guys, thanks for having me back. The guest's so nice you had to have in place.
Yes,
love it.
Yeah, appreciate it. I'm rocking my X-Men Classic for this one. This is how I first came across this great book. Yeah,
I love it. Yeah,
I'm so excited. Thanks for having me back, guys.
Absolutely, man. Nice classic. I'm trying to collect all those classics.
They're so good. I'm trying to find the omnibus is out of print, so I gotta see if I can get it one of the Omnis.
Yeah, I like all the extra bits too that go in a lot of those.
That's why.
Yeah, absolutely.
Worth it.
Absolutely.
All right, so let's say a quick hello to the chat. Before I do, want to remind everybody, first and foremost, make sure you're following Stu over on YouTube and Instagram. I put his information in the description below. Certainly hit him up. Stu, you've been killing it, man. We've talked about this last time, but keep doing what you're doing, man. Absolutely. Glad to have you on the channel. And of course, if you're not following John, make sure you do so as well. So we'll be over on John's channel next
Tuesday. Best short maker there is.
Yes. Yeah, John's been slaying it with those things. Huh?
John's shorts are.
Yeah, I may be tall, but I make shorts.
That's right. All right, let's say a quick hello to the chat, and then we're going to get right into the episode here. So we got Ryan Magic Lasso in the chat. What's going on, brother?
Good hey, wait, where's our dad joke? You're finally back with us, Ryan. It's been forever. Where's the joke?
We need that.
Maybe it's coming. Maybe it's a little further.
You used to be the man.
Yeah. That's
disappointing.
We'll see. John and Stu slaying it in the chat as well. Jackson Roy Kirk, what's going on? Says, this old repeat. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we're just reruns now. That's all we do now. We got another Ryan in the chat. Colossus Collector. Hello. What's going on, my friend? I've been talking a lot of X-Men with him. I know he's a big Colossus fan, obviously.
He is.
Got him on the cover here. Let's see. We got our good friend Candace in the chat. Candace, I have a package to send to you. I have not yet sent it, but it'll be coming your way soon. But good to see you, Candace, as always. Let's see. Scrolling through here. Chat just jumped on me. JP in the chat. Did Justin? Yes, I'm finally off the AOL. We can all move on.
50 hours free.
Yes. Yeah, exactly.
That CD. He's got the CD going.
There you go.
Let's see. All right. I think I got everybody at the moment. And quick reminder, we will be over on JP's channel after this. So in about an hour or so, we'll be talking Black Hammer. So if anybody wants to join us and talk some more Black Hammer, we'll be over there.
I got to figure out where I put those trades.
Along with Daryl, read your comics as well.
Are y'all going through the whole run?
Yeah, we're basically caught up with where they are as far as the trades that have dropped. We've read and discussed the entirety. I forced these guys to roll through all of
I went
Black
willingly. I was willingly down.
Yeah,
I wanted
awesome.
Lemire.
I love the feel of that comic. It's so great.
Yeah, for
Nothing
sure.
like it.
Yep.
No.
You know what, guys? Tonight, let's just talk. We're just going to talk Black Hammer tonight. The chat's like, wait. If Chet was here, he'd be freaking out right now. All right. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to jump back into the book. Want to remind everybody to stick around after, because we do have our trivia questions. Those are going to be based off of last real episode back over on John's channel. So make sure you stick around for that. And you can get your name on our prize wheel that we give away stuff at the very end of the season, which will be in June-ish about. So make sure you are staying tuned for those. But yeah, let me share my screen here. I know we talked briefly about the cover, but I want to kind of go through it again. Just want to so we can keep this all condensed. We normally do the questionnaire in the beginning, since we've kind of did it already once. If you guys missed that, definitely check out the short clipped episode. Maybe I'll make it a clip or something even, because I could do that. But those are all still up there from what John had asked to do when I was having internet issues. So you get a 2-for-1 feature where you get just the two guys, and I'm not even there. So maybe it's a plus. But yeah, so let's get into the cover first. John, I'll start with you. What were your initial thoughts on this cover as we get into this?
I think this cover is dynamic and hilarious. And I talked a lot about the yellow pants last time. The Juggernaut's yellow pants, I think, are hilarious. I think the pink shirt of Colossus. I wear pink. Real men wear pink. I have no problem with that. I would never wear yellow pants. That's bold. I do love Wolverine chilling at the bar with a very tight shirt. He's got that. He's got the muscle flex shirt. He's medium.
He's
great pose. Great pose.
Yeah.
Great pose.
And then Nightcrawler's the only one who seems dressed for winter. He's got like a parka on. So the whole thing I think is great. The costuming for me is why I love this cover.
Nice. Well said. Stu, what about you? What were your initial thoughts when you see this cover?
Yeah, I said it last week. I love the Kirby-esque-ness of it.
Yeah.
Like how it's got those old Thor Hercules type vibes, like those old Throwdown Kirby Throwdown vibes to it. That's what initially stuck out to me about it. But yeah, I love John's comments about the costuming and the background. So they did background on both that one and the classic.
Let me play it there.
See them, there they are in the corner.
Oh yeah, nice.
So yeah,
I like that they honored.
They gave him love in both of them. So yeah,
is he doing the like William Frakes sitting backwards on the chair move?
Yeah, for sure, bro.
Wolverine really going casual there, ultra casual. He's like, I'm gonna get comfortable for this fight. I love it.
Yeah,
I mean,
ultra casual in both poses.
It goes well with the issue, right? I mean, that was
right.
Very much
definitely in keeping for sure.
Yeah, yeah. So, I'm with you guys. I do like this cover. I feel like it's one of the better ones that we've come across in this season so far. And yeah, I mean, certainly matches what we get into in terms of reading. And as you said, Stu, for me, even last time with Kirby, I think you're spot on. Like, just reminds me of the style and the kind of the big hands and big arms and all that stuff.
Absolutely.
So yeah, very, very cool. All right, let's jump into the first slide here. So we kind of started to kick it off, and that's when I think I started to freeze.
Yeah. So we got our wedding crashers, and then it was done.
I love it.
Yeah, exactly.
So much.
Internet crashers. So yeah, we get this beautiful splash page. The colors. I mean, we've talked about the pinks and the purples and everything. I think it fits really well here. And we basically get Colossus or Peter trying to break the news to Kitty Pryde that he's fallen in love with someone else. That since the Secret Wars 12-issue miniseries, which we clarified hasn't all been released yet at this time, technically. Right.
And they just spoiled it.
They spoiled it. So he clarifies that there's someone who has saved his life while they were away with the Beyonder and that whole storyline. And he just can't describe it. He has all these like kind of poetic thoughts on how he shares and talks about his feelings towards this other woman. And meanwhile, Kitty, trying to, stand for herself or act like everything's fine. But really deep down inside, she is completely torn apart. And sad hearing all this, knowing that a lot of the poetics are what he's saying and feeling are about someone else, even though he always said he had a hard time with words with her. And a lot of other things that could be compared, like how she had saved his life and all these other things. And I know we'll get into more detail later in the book, but I want to get your guys' thoughts on this initial just kind of opening set of panels. And John, I'll start with you first. Everything from the artwork all the way to kind of the emotional setting that we get here.
Yeah, I mean, because there's a lot to take in here, and for me, it reminded me of Golden Age comics, where romance was a popular genre. I mean, you had war, and you had westerns, and you had gangster comics, and very few superhero comics, but romance comics were a big deal. And this has the look and feel in these pages, both in the coloring and the inking and the artwork of those books. Even the font of the title there, really pulls it off well. And I think it's a kind of fun love letter, and I guess maybe to some of that era of comic. Sure. I think I love the idea that what we're getting is the maturation of Peter. Like this is a guy who was dating a much younger girl, wasn't sure kind of where he felt about this and where it was going. And I think the experiences in Battle World have clearly aged him. Right. And I like that he is reflecting on the impact that it had. Is he over dramatizing it? Yeah, sure. But this is a romance comic. It's supposed to be overly, dramatic. Melodrama is what we're going for. And so for me, I like, as far as what Claremont does beautifully, is letting these characters age, letting them evolve. And this is a big piece for Colossus and for Kitty as well, but we're hearing it from his perspective, right? What has this done emotionally to him, and how has it changed how he views himself and his relationship to Kitty? So I like all of that stuff.
Absolutely. Well said. Stu, what about you? What were your thoughts here going into this issue?
So just to clarify first, what is this spoiling as far as Secret Wars is concerned? Was it spoiling her death and her sacrifice? Okay. It was that, so that issue was not out.
Yeah, that's issue, basically that's issue 12. And so issue 11, spoiler for Justin, who has not read it. Yeah. Issue 11, basically all the good guys die. They all die.
Okay.
And so you're left going, what in the world how are they going to get out of this? And of course, what they're spoiling here is the female healer character is the one that kind of like makes it possible for them to get victory. And I mean, they don't go into the specifics, which is fine. And I
find it curious that she's never named.
No, it's possible they hadn't named her yet, because she really shows up later in that run.
Yeah. The books weren't out yet. That was what
they've only done a couple of issues at this point. I think they're probably only 3 issues deep.
2 or 3 of the Secret Wars issues were actually out.
Justin, have you even met her yet? The girl, the white haired.
Is it the one that is also with Johnny? Yeah. So yes, I have. Yeah. So I'm like a little more than halfully through. I'm at issue 7, I think.
So she comes in pretty late when people need healing, and they finally meet a village of like innocents or civilians or whatever. But yeah, it's definitely a spoiler, but who knows how big if anybody even noticed or cared.
Yeah. Like, it doesn't change too much. Like, I mean, I guess when you're reading that, you kind of have a hint, but it doesn't I don't think it like ruins, the read or anything like that.
For sure. Well, just like you guys, I love the artwork. I didn't really, I think this is astute as far as like the throwback to the romance comics and stuff like that. I didn't really pick up on that. I'm really touch and go when it comes to thought bubbles. I really love this usage here with Kitty, and just how he couldn't shut up. He just kept going. It just got, and I like how it one way or the other stirred up emotion in you moving forward through the rest of the book. This was kind of like, it's kind of like a self-contained story in that way. That's what I kind of love about this comic. It's just. And this is this is the spark to the flame, but I thought it was really well done. Just an appropriate scene for a breakup of 2 people of that age, and I thought it was very authentic and real.
So one thing, and well said. One thing a couple things I wanted to highlight. And JP throwing this in here, saying, sorry, 14-year-old girl, I actually found a woman my own age and will stop being a creeper. So like that, one thing I always like to kind of point out as we talk about this relationship with Kitty, yes, technically, like it is a very uncomfortable, I mean, obviously not acceptable age range, in just the general terms of what we've had this discussion several times. So when you think of it that way, and it definitely pulls you out a little bit. But if you can look at it in a way that it's just it's two people who have a relationship and they love each other or whatever, then it's
just plug your
two
ears
young
and
people,
ignore it.
two young people going through a breakup.
The way Stu had put it was nice. They're like two young people going through our time.
Let's just keep it moving. You know what I mean?
Right.
It is like, regardless whether she's 14 or whether she's 18, she handles it. I think she handles it in the same way. She tries to keep her composure, and then she goes and has a breakdown. And I feel like that's a way a lot of young people handle it, or a lot of adult people handle it.
Sure.
Regardless.
Well, and when Justin and I started doing this show, my oldest was 14, and now my youngest is almost 14. So if you guys want to place the awkwardness of this for me, that's about where it is.
Fair enough.
Because if 18 or 20-year-old comes walking in,
mine's turning 12 this week, so I'm not ready, John.
You shouldn't be. Nobody is. I'd be scared if you said you were.
Candace here said that she loved the homage to romance comics. Yeah, definitely an homage to that for sure. Shop for Comics is in the chat. What's going on, Shop? Hello. Eric also in the chat saying a quick hello to a couple of other people just joining us. We got Jedi Knight also with us tonight. The Max Headroom tonight. Johnny Blondin. Yeah. Chet, you were at a cool concert earlier. I was gonna note before. Let's see. Don't blame Colossus. Blame Chris Claremont. Yeah. There you go. I mean, it all came from his brain. So yeah. All right. I think. Did I get everybody that was jumping in here? Yes, I think we did. Okay. Let's keep this going here. All right, next up. So yeah, as Stu mentioned, they finally go. They kind of split off because Kitty's like, all right, you know what, I gotta go. I got this thing, whatever, and they kind of break off. Does feel very typical in any person who's trying to play it off cool, like they're fine. They're fine. If you guys watch Friends, you know exactly.
I've been watching it with my daughters. We're in season 1 still, but like it's funny because I'm
great.
like, we're all in. They're very into it right now.
These slides are amazing so far, man.
Oh, great.
Home runs.
I had to put both because the deep voice, I'm fine. So Kitty very much on her way home, kind of going back and forth within her own head with kind of how she's feeling right now, clearly upset with the news that she had just gotten from Peter, and she looks out into the window. She's walking back to the house and sees Storm looking down on her. She kind of snaps at the idea of Storm being there. Not that Storm can hear her or anything, but she definitely gives this I bet I could be tough and mean like Storm, like basically kind of putting her down, but she kind of forgives her, or she kind of apologizes in her own way to herself for thinking those thoughts. And then she goes back and meets with Ileana, who Ileana's asking, like, how'd it go with my brother? She kind of knew, everyone kind of knew that this was coming. She kind of tries to play it off like she's fine, but as you can see there, not really so much. So anything, Stu, that you want to add here before I go on to the next page?
I was just, these two were involved in the Massachusetts Academy incident together, right? And they had just been through that. I thought it was just a dope little scene of consolation between the two, like the Claremont, like we're gonna get to with Storm and a couple other characters. He does such a good job just with a couple scenes of character building, moving these guys along, building to their story. I just think that's where he really shines to me.
Totally.
Yeah.
Just in a page or two.
Absolutely, for sure. John, anything there that you wanted to add?
No, I mean, I think obviously there's a lot of this that's in the New Mutants run, and we, there's back and forth between what's going on right now and what's going on right now in the New Mutants comics, and maybe at some point we'll skip a season of this and do a New Mutants season just to kind of get the other half of this, because I think it's very important to characters like Kitty, who we care a ton about, and Ileana, who we've cared a bunch about. And all these other new characters, like we saw Doug not too long ago, and I think the fact that Claremont was writing both, I think really it shows, because there is a lot of continuity that's really beautifully done between the two books, and the ongoing relationship between Ileana and Kitty is nicely played here, especially with Ileana stuck in the middle.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Her annoying older brother, and who she's kind of been distant from. And Kitty, who she's cared a lot about. So having the two of them together, I think, it was probably impactful. And then seeing the breakup is a little hard on her as well.
Right. Yeah. And good point about like, I think the payoff is great if you're reading both of these stories at the same time. And
which
Claremont
a lot
does
of
good
people
job.
were. These were very high selling books at Marvel at the same time.
I bet.
You know, because New Mutants was sort of a throwback in a beautiful way to the origins of the, you know, Stan Lee, Jack Kirby original X-Men, right? It was young kids at a school learning about their powers and being trained and taught. It was all the stuff that X-Men kind of stopped being when Claremont came on board. Yeah. Because Claremont had this other beautiful vision, and it was a chance to be able to tell both and allow the original characters and the second group of characters to become those leaders and a new group of young kids to become the students.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Quick hello to 62 Lefty Blue in the chat. Yes, chat Tool. That was good stuff. Good stuff. I think definitely well said. And New Mutants. That's
I mean, I'm down next year. It might be the perfect time to kind of do it because we would get all caught up on all that. You know, it would kind of overlap with this season and next season and the season beyond.
Yep. I also missed Callie Comics. What's up, Callie? Good to see you, man.
What's up, John?
All right, let's keep this going here. Then we switch over to the Danger Room.
3 for 3. 3 for 3, dude.
So a little bit of action going on as we get the Danger Room back. We get to see Rogue, who's really taking her anger out on the Danger Room because of the issue prior to this one that we learned of her struggles and her not being able to truly handle or understand some of her powers or how they work or why they work. And to the extent of her powers, of the memories that she's been drawing, the emotions that she's been dealing with, and so on and so forth. So very emotional scene here. And so when she's in the Danger Room, she actually has the settings set up so much to where it could possibly kill her. She's not safe about it. No one else is around. Luckily, Storm had happened to walk in and see that the settings were the way they were, and so she turns off the Danger Room ultimately. And even when she does that, thinking she's doing a favor, Rogue is pretty much like, stay out of my way. I can do whatever I want. I'm an adult. Don't worry about me. And just kind of blows her off. Kind of an intense scene there, coming from the scene that we just saw prior. So, Stu, what are your thoughts here with seeing Rogue the way she's been acting here?
Oh man, first of all, I'm always here for a Danger Room gone wrong scenario. Like those are always the best to me. I think this just comes from like my childhood love of the animated series and just like that. I love JR here. I think he does a really good job with. I love his robot. I love the action. I think this is one of his best pages in the spread. And my favorite part, really, you know, not to ignore Rogue, but is Storm's little display of leadership and how we just see, like, you know, her great character at work. And I think after this, she's like, you know, Professor X, you picked a weekend to be away or whatever like that. I just I just love I don't know. I love her efforts, you know, here and with Kitty throughout this issue, and how they just kind of establish where she's at as a team leader, and, you know, her character, you know, related to all these people's struggles. And I feel like she's here for everybody. And this is a great display of that.
Yeah.
This is another one of the, just like the Ileana thing. It's just like a nice little, like, we move along with Rogue, we move along with Storm a little bit.
Little updates with each of the characters where they're at.
And it's great filler stuff, but it's meaningful. It's just really well done.
Absolutely, man. And it shows like where they are emotionally, mentally, and they're not just some dry character going into the next scene or whatever. Yeah, I agree. Yeah. Your point to what you said there about her thought bubble right after this. I actually realized I cut that out of the next slide. So I'll talk about that briefly. But yes, Stu, as you mentioned, after she has this little blow up scene with Rogue, and Rogue storms off, Storm, no pun intended, storms off. Storm thinks to herself, man, like, you know, Professor X, he left at a he picked a great time to, sarcastically picked a great time to leave because, I'm dealing with Kitty Pryde, who just got her heart broken and dealing with some really emotional things. And then at the same time, dealing with Rogue and her frustrations. And you're right. It definitely highlights her as a leader, again, continuing to see her leadership grow and how she handles it. And the fact that she's even considering other people's emotions and things like that, I think just goes a long way to building her character. John, I'll ask you, what are your thoughts on some of this as we see, this is obviously a very much a Rogue moment here, but also a Storm moment here as well.
Well, I think I'm surprised I didn't catch it. So thank you, Stu, for mentioning, like, we get back-to-back female power, like, let me help you through an emotional time kind of moments where we have the younger generation and now we've got slightly the next generation up. I think that's a great comparison that I had not thought about. Yeah. And the coping strategies, right? Kitty saying that I'm fine and then holding it all inside, Rogue doing the same. And now Rogue with the sort of self-flagellation of like, I just want to be punished. I know I've made this horrible mistake. I can't possibly fix this for Carol Danvers. So I'm going to punish this out of me.
Yeah.
And what a great like end cap to the previous issue, which was somewhat mediocre and, not necessarily as tightly managed, but getting to see the emotional weight of that on Rogue here. By the way, I'm still upset that a robot can do that to her and she barely feels it. But that other guy, he can just slap her and not have any issue. We'll get back to that another day. This stupid SHIELD agent guy, we'll get into another day. Michael Rossi, whatever his name is. I also want to highlight, lastly, phenomenal clothing yet again. Holy cow. Rogue looking full Pat Benatar. She's got like a bandana on. She's also got like green boots, folks. These are Irish green all the way to the mid-calf boots with this like onesie that she's wearing. I don't even know. And then Storm girl. I don't know what this black and yellow blazer with the giant shoulder pads she's got. She looks ready to play football in that gear.
Yes.
And then the matching gloves and pants. Stormy,
they're like burgundy in my reprint. I don't know about y'all, but
yeah. I mean and then she's got the boots that match the jacket. If you look closely, the heeled boots match the jacket. It's all happening. Yeah, she did join Cobra Kai. I could see it. Sweep the leg for me. Sweep the leg.
Can I just say,
strike fast, no mercy, ma'am.
I always laugh when we get a sports reference. Just picture John prior to the show Googling to confirm his.
Do football players wear pads? Which one wears the shoulder pads? Is it rugby?
Is that golf or is that which one?
It's ping pong. It's ping pong. I knew it. So yeah, the costume A+ costuming in this issue so far. I'm just
absolutely
saying.
Great call. Yeah.
Quick hello. I missed Brother Joe earlier. Station Brother Joe. I don't think I.
What is
Brother Joe? What up?
Brother Joe in the house, and Daryl also in the house. I mentioned him earlier. Read your comments. So he'll be streaming with us here in about an hour. Good to see you, man. All right, let's well said. Let's keep this going. So next up we get Peter, who's coming home after a long day, after explaining the heartbreaking stuff that he had to do with Kitty, and as he's walking through the door, he gets greeted with Wolverine in the shadows, which you never want to see that man in the shadows like that. And he immediately says, like, let's go, we're going out. Even though Peter doesn't really look like he's in the mood to go anywhere, but sure enough, he goes along with him, and then we get Nightcrawler bamfing his way right into the car with him. Doesn't even use the door. Says, "Don't worry about it. Just gonna bamf right in with you guys." Meanwhile, second half of these panels here, Storm is checking in on Kitty Pryde after knowing, that this was all going down, that she had had her heart broken and everything else, and she sees that Kitty Pryde is actually packing up. Looks like as if she's calling it quits. She, wants to check in a little bit to investigate why, what's going on, why are you leaving? And she's just so, explains how heartbroken she is. She said she can't do this right now. She plans to go visit her dad. She hasn't seen in a while. She said maybe he can give me some advice. And then also her mom, who they're divorced. She had mentioned that earlier in some of her thought bubbles of her parents, breaking up and seeing if getting advice from them in that way. So just a really touching moment, and seeing her, I really should have blown that last set of panels up, because it's a really emotional moment for her of just trying to stay calm, trying to breathe, and expressing her hatred for Peter verbally, but then also following it up with saying that she loves him. And it just goes to show again how much emotion, how much heart she's had for this guy, and that this is not just some fling. This was not just some throwaway random relationship. This was huge, and for him to drop this bomb on her, this emotional bomb on her, is really struggling. So she's leaving for now, and this is kind of like a goodbye for now to Storm and the X-Men. So John, I'll pass it back to you here. What are your thoughts on these emotional scenes? And of course, as I mentioned before, Wolverine not letting Peter go to his room. He's like, dude, we're going back out. Let's go get your jacket on.
I think that for me is the crux of the drama here is Logan being savvy enough to be able to know this guy needs a drink. Like, let me get this guy into the pub. And I love I guess it's the inking work here. The lighting is so strong. From those crazy pink sunset backgrounds we had earlier to this sort of stark black negative space stuff here. And the blues, the blue sort of saturates these 3 pages. Really great inking and coloring going on here. So the emotional level is really great here. I love that Nightcrawler's like, you guys need somebody here. This is going to get really dark.
He's already nervous. I love how he's already nervous. He's like, hey, what are you leaving without me, dude?
Yeah. He's like, if Colossus just follows Wolverine's advice, because this could get really dark. So let's add me in. I'm not going to let you get away from me. I'm going to bamf into the car, even with all the horrible smell. I'm going to add to this car. I'm going to do it. And then I think Kitty and Storm have had a bit of a roller coaster across the last handful of issues, and this was solidifying the maturity of Kitty, where she's at a place where she's understanding I can hate what he's doing to me, but I still really love him, and I can hate the advice that I'm getting from Storm, but I can still recognize its veracity, and so there's some really great truth kind of happening here. I also want to mention Kenneth Bird, I know, has a big procedure coming up, and we're sending a lot of love to you, Kenneth, and sending a lot of thoughts and prayers your way, my brother. So we're happy to see you in the chat and hope to see a ton more of you in the coming months, my man. And then hello, Adam.
Everything goes well.
Good to see you.
Absolutely. Yes, and Adam makes stuff up as well in the chat. Good to see you both. Stu, what about you? What are your thoughts here on this?
First off, let's take note of Colossus has a yellow jacket on. So how does he get the pink? He gets the pink jacket on at the bar, I'm guessing. Things get pretty wild and crazy there. That we don't see that on the one we see on the cover is not on him yet. So we'll have to follow that. I love these 3 pages. I love, Wolvie coming out of the dark. Wolvie is my favorite part of this episode. His the kind of the voice of the conscience that he kind of is for the group sometimes, and for things. I love his father figure type attitude, and I love how it starts here. Dude, super with the cowboy hat and the stove lit. It's gonna be a long night. It's gonna be a long night.
He's got the hat way down over his eyes, so you just get this little shaded view.
But like we were saying earlier, I love Kurt's fretfulness, his scramble to get in the car, and like we were saying, let's not forget, Storm said that she, in one of these panels, I don't know if it's here or earlier, she straight up said she wished that Piotr was dead. He would rather die than come back and cause this type of harm or do this damage to Kitty. So really taking a hardline stance with her relations. But I love how the panel is just kind of like get smaller, and it's a great. He also does something similar later when Wolvie spots Juggernaut, but we'll get to that. I just kind of like.
And shout out to Kitty. Kitty Pride still got the Magnum PI poster going. So
I didn't even. Good call, classic, dude.
I think it's Selleck. I mean, it could be Burt Reynolds at that age. It's really.
It's been an ongoing question.
But I think she's mentioned Magnum enough that I'm going to say that's Selleck.
John, when John gets the opportunity to meet Chris Claremont, that's his first question to him. Is going to be, the poster reference
about Tom Selleck. Right. It's all about Tom Selleck.
Yeah, he's going to just for confirmation. All right, let's keep this going. So a couple things happen here. We get a little bit of a jump scene to Dallas, where we have, and I'm gonna confirm their names again. Oh yeah, Valerie Cooper along with Raven, who's under disguise here, as she's changed in the red jacket there, driving to going to visit Forge. They mentioned Forge. I think this is like the first mentioning of Forge in comics here, right? So and so certainly new to me coming from this. And yeah, it's interesting to see that basically, Raven being undercover here, not with this girl Valerie, not knowing she's a mutant, and she's like kind of bad mouthing and just saying like how man, just can't wait to get this plan going so we can essentially combat or take advantage of the mutants and put them in their place and yada 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 and all these things. And meanwhile, Raven's just like thinking in her head like, you have no idea like who you're talking to. If you knew, I love the car, like the straight on shot of her face there and zoomed in on her glasses and everything as she's like kind of her thought bubbles, going to that thought. So yeah, they're on their way because there's some sort of, I think it's like an item or weapon or something that they heard about that Forge has for them. So that's all we really know about them at this moment in time. And then we get a flash. Then we jump back over to Manhattan, where the boys are out at the bars. Interesting to note, this is something that stood out to me. They have their whole meal and everything, and then afterwards they reference getting a drink. And I just found that really interesting. That like I can't picture these guys going in, especially one's very emotional, the other one understands. Yeah, they probably need a drink, and they come in and instead they order food. That's all they do. And then after they consider, I'll get around to drinks.
I'm gonna say that's Nightcrawler's influence. We're not gonna drink on an empty stomach.
Yes, he's like, let's fill up first.
The German is like
waters. He orders waters for everybody.
Yeah, the Russian and the Canadian are like, let's just start doing shots. But the German is like, no. You get a couple bratwurst in you stabilize the belly, get a pretzel, hot pretzel, something. Then you like.
He's like, Colossus, you haven't eaten since lunch. You are having a meal first.
Yeah, for sure.
So they're they begin to have this conversation and discuss, try to get down to like a little bit of like what's going on and going back and forth. And then Peter goes off and orders a drink. He's the one that takes care of the drinks. He gets ID'd, by the way. So he gets ID'd. They kind of point that out as well. I thought that was interesting. And then meanwhile, is Wolverine kind of starts to give it to him, right? Starts to give him a hard time. It's kind of this tough love mentality of what is happening or what he did to Kitty Pryde and how kind of not cool it is. Before he can get too far, though, he does start to notice or realize that there's a bit of a scent that goes on. But before I get into kind of the rest of the scene here, just setting the stage, I want to get your guys' thoughts real quick because of the Valerie stuff and everything else. So Stu, I'll pass it to you first here. What are your thoughts on the scene with Valerie and Raven going to Forge? When you first read this, like, did you know Forge? Like, what were do you recall your first thoughts on?
Man, I can't say I did. Honestly, this was like how I discovered a lot of the Claremont era, because the X-Men writers for me were, Lobdell and Fabian Nicieza and
right.
Those cats. So like a lot of my Claremont discovery was through X-Men Classic. So I can't say I knew who he was at first, but I agree with what you said about the panels focusing in on the facial expression and how we kind of get our mood setting from that. But I like, as far as like the bar scene between Wolvie and Colossus, I like that they both have valid points. Colossus like, are you really going to lecture me about love? And that's a fair point to make to Wolverine. But Wolverine is also like, was what you had really legitimate? Was it really an investment? Obviously this relationship has come to define both Kitty Pryde and Colossus for the longevity of their canon. So I think he was right to make that point. So I thought they both made like interesting points at the table. Wolverine was a little OD with it, with the blood bond and all that.
Right.
He has to be.
Yeah, but at the same time, I'm not going to take away that both of them made fair points at one point or another in the conversation.
Great point. John, were you assuming that when Peter spoke back that way and pointed something out about Wolverine, that Wolverine would just cut him right there? Like, when you just almost assume he would, like, you son of a, just jump over the table, you know?
Yeah. I mean, obviously, Wolvie's kind of wearing two hats here, right? I'm your friend, but I'm also Kitty's surrogate dad here. Like, I'm not going to let you torture my kid here. I'm not going to let you torture somebody I care. He even says, like, you're hurting two people I love. Like,
Yep.
make better choices, do better, right?
Yes.
And Nightcrawler's saying, hey, he's just a kid. And then the Wolverine has the great line where he's like, then he gets a spanking. Like,
yeah.
you pick. He's either old enough to deal with the consequences of his actions, or he's so little that he needs a spanking and a redirect. Like, you tell me what age you think he is. And he's erring on the side of maturity, which I think is fantastic.
Yeah.
He knows this guy. I've been with this guy for a lot of years. I'm going to err on the side of he knows better, and he's old enough to be hearing the hard truth. And I'm going to present him with my truth. This isn't love in the truest sense.
Right.
It was, I'm not dismissing it out of hand, but I'm telling you it's not the real deal.
Yeah.
And it was too short for that.
Yeah.
And it's a powerful scene to Stu's point. Like, there's no wrong answer or right answer here. It's just two guys trying to discuss the heartbreak that they're both in the midst of, right? Yeah. And the realities of it, and balance it out. And then there's Kurt, who's just like, damn, I'm gonna call Amanda later, and we're gonna get in the jacuzzi.
These onion rings are amazing.
Yeah. He's like, I don't need any of this drama right now, guys.
So good.
Yeah.
So in that shot of, like, the Nightcrawler in the shadows where it's just his eyes, it's like the bottom and the center.
Yes.
Again, more great lighting in this.
Absolutely.
Again, we've been talking about the roller coaster of art that is this era. And this is one of the superior pieces. So glad to see return to form a little bit.
Agreed. Quick hello to Brian in the chat. Brian LCS, what's going on, Brian? Yeah, man. Adam Monahans, is that a play on Callahan's or Houlihan's maybe? Yeah, perfect. Right. One of many. All right, let's keep this going here. So wanted to just zoom in here a little bit. As the interruption goes,
that might be your winner. That might be the winner right there.
Yeah, I agree.
I'm not even gonna let you go on. Like, we're just gonna talk about it for a second.
Wow. So I love how you make it. Like, I'm looking at my book right now. You made it a part of the panel.
You made it as its own panel. Johnny Depp is now a part of this issue.
This might be some of my best work here, John.
I mean, I don't think you'll ever. You should screen grab this. You're not gonna get better.
All I'm going to say is it gets better tonight. That's all.
Don't promise things. I love this. Yeah. Oh my goodness. Yeah.
Professional letter work right there.
Wow. Yeah. Wow.
All right. So as Wolverine is again trying to have this stern talking to Colossus, he begins to have this smell, this scent that he's picking up that's familiar. He can't quite pick it out of the crowd, but he's like going through his memory of, like, where did I smell that scent before? And Stu, you had pointed this out a little earlier with Storm and Kitty, with the way the panels are and the way they kind of, I a lot of this stuff I read digitally first. It's usually how I approach when I'm, especially with Omnibus, and then I jump into the Omnibus after. So I'm doing the digital panel to panel reading. So I see it like, you just see that one blue panel, another blue, and it's like I love how it's like a blurred. You can almost like hear the bar scenery.
It's more dramatic that way sometimes.
Yeah, like it builds up, and right, and you don't quite know. So then finally, you just see his back at first as he starts to come into color, and then you see this big guy and this girl that he's with, and of course, as we realize now, and as Wolverine quickly realizes, it's Juggernaut. He realizes, and it's been a while, right, John, since we've seen Juggernaut. I want to say, and maybe I'm wrong here, but I feel like we haven't seen him since like 104, 103, 102, like back with Cassidy.
I mean, 102 and 103 is the classic Black Tom story. I think that he's been there since then, but I can't. Okay, I can't recall.
I couldn't really picture. Now I know there are some scenes that are references, and Stu, I have another set of panels here I want to go into real quick that you had sent us, going into a little bit of a background to Juggernaut and what he was up to kind of during this time. So Let me make sure this is lined up right. You know what? I have it on the next slide. So after this,
Okay.
we'll go into it.
Yeah.
But yeah. So and actually, since this is all kind of one blur at this point, I am going to go to the next slide. So we do get into this kind of a bump and bar fight right away, right out of the bat, or right out of the gate, and of course. I love how he spills the beer. It ends up going all over Juggernaut. Juggernaut is completely pissed off. He's like, dude, I'm here. I'm trying to talk to this girl. And you my night. You just ruined my whole night. And he goes off. And of course, they start swinging. And this is where we get those middle panels there. I love the big right hooks and left hooks. Very much the front cover of what we've seen here. And then meanwhile, at the bottom, I love seeing kind of the all the people in the bar just talking about, oh my God, it's that so-and-so. Who's that? What's going on? And, and then you see the girl. There's a girl, talking with someone new. It looks like down below. But want to get some of your thoughts on how this kind of escalates as quickly as it does, John. I'll start with you from this set of scenes, and of course the stuff prior to this with what's his name, the pilot.
It's phenomenal. It's phenomenal, and like you said, the page layouts, the color work, the lighting, and then I think Stu mentioned earlier the slow reveal. Because they have not even at the point of the end of these two pages here, or these two slides, told us who this is. You've got to be on it enough to know who this character is on your own independently, or just kind of track the way Wolverine is acting around him, the way Wolverine is sort of responding to him, to kind of know what's really happening here. I think it's beautifully handled. It's not force feeding anything to you. It's just letting you come to it in your own way, which is the best. And then the fight, is hilarious. I think the way it's handled is like, I grew up watching old John Wayne Westerns and stuff where it was like the barroom fights were hilarious. Everybody get punched and just stand right back up again. Nobody's taking any like serious damage. You got the bit there. You have the bit there where Wolverine's telling Nightcrawler not to get into it, and then he's like, duck, and then a chair comes flying over the top of him, and it's like the clips you've shown here are really great because they capture the silliness of it and in the reality of it. Like the comedy's played really, really well here. These are two basically invulnerable people trashing this joint, and it's funny watching Wolverine go like, he needs his outlet. He needs to have his spanking. We talked about him needing a spanking earlier. Here it is. The only guy who can give Colossus the spanking is the Juggernaut. Like it's really, it's just executed well. And we've also mentioned a few times that JR tends to be at his best in scenes with action, with movement, with things that allow him to do a story from panel to panel. And you get a lot of that, whether it's Colossus going through the wall and you really don't see him until he's climbing back out again, or the fisticuffs, the flying Kirby fists that Stu mentioned at the beginning. Like it's just really well managed. And then again, Wolverine just like duck, stay down. Like, I'm aware of all the stuff happening here. This is all being handled right.
Right. Yeah. Well said. A couple things in the chat here before I pass it to you, Stu. Daryl saying, I love the color choice of the panels with Juggernaut at the bar. Absolutely agree.
Oh, yeah.
Chet confirms. He says, wow, yes, 103 was the last time. Didn't realize that. Yeah, at least in the X-Men main title. I'm pretty sure that was the last time that we saw him, which is pretty crazy knowing all the different artists.
You're talking about 80 issues. Yeah.
Yeah, that's nuts. Wow, 80. That is nuts. Let's see. Ryan Colossus says, whoever colored the interiors had much better fashion sense. Yeah, agreed. And yes, that girl Juggernaut was getting on was an opportunist. There you go. Okay. Our kid has really some weight. He could pass her. So I did quite in the beginning. Like I was quite like when I first saw the cover. I like for the very first time ever seeing this cover, I remember thinking like, who is that? Like I really didn't know. It didn't really, wasn't clear to me. All right, Stu. What are your thoughts here with some of the madness that kind of kicks off into this book?
Just to start on the previous page, I just love the Wolvie panels. Like I just love like the slow, like with him turning his head. I just love the art on that. Like I said, we don't really get his sense of smell illustrated all the time in like a unique way, like we get right here. Right. And I just love how in that second to last panel, the other guy's starting to come into color too. It's just a really nice touch.
Yes, good point.
Yeah, but it was really fun rereading this, the bar mayhem, and like how it was just all accidental. Like that is like before my most recent reread, that has kind of slipped my mind, just how it all came to be and how it all like came together. So that was really enjoyable just to see again him fall back and then get pushed through the wall, and immediately he's on the defensive end. Had I not turned into metal, that would have been it for me. I just love the Kirby fight here, and like you said, John, I think JR is best when he's doing the action. But I love how also we get the bar reaction from entertainment and spectacle to like pure horror and fleeing, like in Rampage later on. But man, so well done, so well done.
I'm curious if any of those characters down at the bottom there are based on anybody that the artist knew, or
because they do that a lot, right? In those crowd shots.
You never know.
Somewhere that like the Celine, this character that she ends up picking up and siphoning off on the rooftop is John Byrne.
I was gonna say he does have a Byrne look.
Oh,
with the beard and
yeah. I think there's a better panel of him on the last page, but
what was the other? Oh, and one other thing I wanted to note here was so to keep in mind for anybody who's following as you're following along, technically Colossus doesn't know who this guy is. He's questioning during the fight. He's like, how the heck does he know he almost knows my moves or my powers? He's like ready for me and he can handle my hit. Like, who is this guy? So he hasn't put it together yet the way that Wolverine has. Now that with Wolverine senses and everything. So all right, so the next slide here, and it's actually two panels, and we don't have to go into a lot of detail, but I figure, Stu, this would be a cool opportunity for you to just kind of share the slides that you had shared with us based on what was the issue? It was an Amazing Spider-Man, or was it Team Up?
ASM, 220. I forget the issue.
230.
230. 230. What JR just went off, and this is Spidey versus Jugs. It's referenced in the X-Men issue. Like he's at the bar getting a drink, talking about how he just got out of the concrete fighting with Spider-Man. But Spidey drives a concrete truck into him. It explodes. He comes out of that, and still he ends up outwitting him and being able to trap him in the concrete. And kind of escaping the situation that way. But to me, it's some of the greatest JR artwork out there. It was just a joy to discover not that long ago. So when I saw it referenced in this, that was something I definitely forgot.
So you just read it recently?
I had just read this ASM issue and talked about it on Instagram probably a month or two ago. And so when I saw it referenced here, I was like, oh man. And I messaged John. I was like, yeah, we got to talk about this one. But if you guys haven't read that, you go and check it out. It's just such a fun, great Spidey versus Juggernaut battle issue. JR at his absolute peak, in my opinion. Yeah,
for sure. And I definitely recognize the cover. I've seen that cover before.
Yeah, beautiful cover is crazy. Yeah.
So I'd read these panels since you sent them over, and it's fun. You certainly get Spidey doing what he does best, and the commentating is great.
Spidey's at its wit's end, and he's really trying. He's throwing everything at this guy, and it's a great example of him using brains over brawn and outsmarting Juggernaut.
Yeah, it's great. Yeah. Quick hello to Blood Splatter Chatter. What's going on?
What's up, Verno?
Was that Verno's new? I didn't realize.
Yeah, he rebranded a little bit his name for the horror films. He's always he's talking up with Dylan and stuff.
He says scrapping the barrel. Yeah,
scraping the barrel. Yeah.
All we found here was
they take what they can get.
Verno, we got to get you back on here, man. Hope you're doing well.
So, Candace, this is Amazing Spider-Man 230.
Yes, yep, 230. Yeah. That's right.
Great artwork too. This issue. I don't know who's drawing ASM at this point. It's gorgeous though. That big explosion splash page is gorgeous.
Oh, it's John Romita. It's JR.
It is JR.
It is.
Oh,
yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. That's what I was saying.
I mean, senior.
So it's cool that we get like a kind of like a Romita crossover for these two books. Yeah.
Yep. Chet agrees. Awesome read.
JR Senior always worthy of your ASM time.
Yes. All right, so let's so we'll keep it going. One thing I wanted to point out, I'm going to go back to this slide here for a sec. So we talked about the people down at the bottom. Really interesting that you mentioned, Stu, that rumors of that being John Byrne, the guy in the red, and I tried to zoom in
across the line. You've got like Louise Simonson and Walt Simon. I don't know. I'm sure that it's going to be like that. They always do the stable of Marvel talent when they do those kind of panels.
Well, because I have it digitally, it actually I can zoom in to like look closer. So I actually zoomed in and took a closer look. I took a screenshot so you guys can see who it actually is. If you look close, it actually turns out
Son of a
that
bitch.
it is a
There it
hey,
is.
John.
Home run.
Stu, you were right when you said
I wish
John.
I could say I was surprised, but
Yeah.
I'll take her home. It's fine.
So, anyways, I just something I found interesting. This is why the app is so great, guys. When you have
It
the
is
Marvel
great.
app,
Pinch
you
and
can really
zoom.
in.
Pinch and
Yeah,
zoom.
exactly.
Pinch and zoom.
All right, so
Now I
let's
feel
keep it
less
going.
guilty dropping the comment that we're almost at an hour and we didn't even do the intro questions. JP,
I thought
good
about
luck.
that.
Good luck, buddy. Good luck, JP.
It's such a great issue. Great issue. All right, so let's keep it going. So a lot of this is, the bar, just more of the bar scenes here. I just wanted to point in this particular set of pages, he literally drops the bar on this guy.
Correct.
Like
He picks up the entire bar and tries to hit him with it.
my favorite part of the comic. Like just
drop, just lay it right on him.
I'm like, that's a key, right? This is a key,
right?
In comics. Like, remember that time that the bar was dropped on?
Yeah, remember that Juggernaut dropped a bar.
Sometimes you eat the bar, and sometimes the bar eats you.
Yes. So so just some great action here. John, any other thoughts that you want to
it's
add
just
to this?
A fun fight. I mean, obviously the rest of this issue is an homage to romance comics, and there's a lot of like romantic heavy melodrama, so obviously we need to have fisticuffs, we need to throw down, we need to appease our core reader, and so, but it's really well handled. I love the tackling of Juggernaut. That panel is just gorgeous. The flying fist sequences, like Stu said, the fact that he lifts up the bar and hits him. At this point in the comic, I was reading it going, damn, the property damage is going to be so serious. It's like watching Man of Steel, and you're like, at the end, you're like, did they just destroy all of Metropolis? Did they just destroy the whole city? Like, holy cow.
Yeah.
And it's kind of happening here too.
Yeah, no, a great point. And I'm going to go to this last set of slides, and then Stu, I'll pass it back over to you. Again, a lot of this is kind of like the end scenes of the action sequences that we get here. But as we wrap up these last few pages, we get to see the results. Like that bar drop was pretty much it for Colossus. He was not getting up after that. So you see him laying there in that this first panel. And I laugh because, John, as you mentioned the property and all that stuff, the damages, I love the fact that I just laugh at the fact that Juggernaut is actually genuinely concerned and cares about this bar owner and throws some money Wolverine's way.
Okay, but let's footnote that Broche threw him like $500, and he just literally ripped the foundations out from the damn building. Like,
oh, that's true. That's it. Yeah, no, it's barely anything. You're right. But I just like that he even like considered to throw money.
It was
on
gangster.
Like,
it was
why
even
like right.
Here's for the damages, like whatever. Like literally just brought the building
the
down.
Superhero privilege. The superhero privilege is on such a high level that he's like, oh, here's the money. It'll be fixed next week when I come back to get my beer.
Yeah,
this
right.
dude is going to be rebuilding this place. You might as well pay him for a year's salary. They're not going to have a bar there for a year. Do you know how long it's going to take to find a contractor to rebuild this thing? Like, this is not.
You're going to have to clear the lot. Like,
even if you paid him enough money to rebuild it completely, what's he going to live on for the next 5 months while they rebuild this thing? Who are you? Juggernaut's independently wealthy. Does Black Tom Cassidy have a bank account that I don't know about, where Juggernaut's just like throwing money out of this thing, and Black Tom's like, where's this money going? Are you just destroying joints all over the city?
Yeah,
it's crazy.
Maybe, chat damage control problems for sure. And then these. Go ahead, Stu. What are your thoughts?
No, it's just an insurance appraiser's nightmare. Yeah, I second everything John said.
Oh goodness gracious!
So we wrap up with this last page here, and they finally, after resolving the fight there, Wolverine kind of explaining himself to Nightcrawler as to why he let them do what they did and how he purposely held back. And Colossus, as he gets up, he does complain about it and say, "What the heck, man? I thought we were a team. Why did you let me just get my butt kicked here?" And Wolverine tries to, again, standing on the points he wants to make of, how you want to talk about teamwork and leadership and everything else like that. What one big part that comes to that is not crushing, the person that you care most about. And that's certainly, again, he's just like trying to educate Peter in a way that he's not, you know, while Peter's growing up, he still has a lot of learning to do, and his empathy is not quite there, and he just doesn't realize what power he held in the relationship of, or the heart that he had with Kitty. So Wolverine doing, you know, a good job of just making the points that he makes there. And then meanwhile, yes, we have this new character kind of show up at the end here, and after killing who, as we now know, is John, or doing something to John. It
Man,
didn't
you
look
were
good.
quick.
It did, yeah. Did not.
I mean, look how hot she is. What do you expect?
Yeah. So, Stu, what are your thoughts here with this? Well, one, the final kind of back and forth with Peter and Wolverine. You know, what are your thoughts there? And then also seeing Celine for the first time.
So the back and forth, I gotta say the Celine thing I really don't remember at all. But the back and forth with Wolverine and Colossus was one of the most impressionable parts of the comic for me, especially as a young kid. This was the conversation I really remember the most. And rereading it now as an adult, I realized both these guys are kind of misguided, but at the same time, I feel like you know, Wolverine had a point and had a little bit of moral high ground here with, you know, the point and the story he was trying to tell Colossus. I feel like you know, with everything that's happened with Kitty, I don't know. Like, I learned all that after the fact, but I didn't need that to know what he was doing felt right at the time, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
So this one page, this one panel, you know, even though I didn't know about the marriage of Caliban or what that meant, it still made an impression on me as a youth, and something that, you know, still makes an impression on me today as an adult.
Yeah, for sure, absolutely. Yeah, no, and it's a great point. I mean, just that whole thing. Some of this stuff, I think Peter either just forgot about or he didn't know about to begin with, and so again, him just not really weighing everything, I think, is the biggest part here. John, what about you? What are your thoughts on this final back and forth between the two of them?
I think Logan's trying to draw his attention to the fact that he's just zeroed in on himself too much. That he's worried about his own pain, his own issues, his own stuff, and sometimes you just need to drop a bar on a guy to get back to where you were. Right? You need to destroy a building to really recenter who you are in your life.
Yeah.
And Wolverine's clearly done that many times up to this point.
Yes.
So he knows, he gets it.
Yep.
So yeah, I like how he's trying to get through to a guy who's as thick-skulled as you can possibly be because it's made of metal. He really just try to get through to the deeper layer and help him understand that, you know, just what you're seeing from your perspective is one little piece, that there's definitely bigger elements going on here. And I thought that was kind of really well done. And yeah, Celine, you know, shout out to next week's book. There she is on the cover battling Cyclops, or sorry, Professor X. So we're gonna get a lot of Celine. She first appeared in New Mutants not too long ago. So she's still a very new character overall.
Yeah. I had not I didn't know much about. I mean, I know her from, you know, the more current Hickman.
Because she's obviously playing a bigger part right now in X-Men comics and in Excalibur and some of those other runs that have been going on.
Yeah. One last thing here, again, just to confirm when we zoom in. we did see this.
Hey,
look, I'm laying on my side.
What
She's cradling me.
You look peaceful though.
I do. I feel good. Laying in the lap of a gorgeous brunette. Like I'll take it. It's my life. It's my life.
All dead. Before we get into the numbers, I want to get your final thoughts and your grade for this issue. John, I'll start with you. What are your final overall thoughts of this issue, and how would you grade this on a CGC scale?
So I finished the last issue and discussion with you feeling really worried about this omnibus and just feeling like, I don't know, how are we going to get through where, you know, maybe we need a New Mutants break. I don't know where I'm at with this emotionally. And then this is the palate cleanser I really needed. And it was all the stuff that I'm the more we read X-Men together, the more I'm rereading it, maybe the 3rd, 5th, 20th time. it's sinking in that the best stuff is the downtime issues. Like I love, I mean, I love the Dark Phoenix saga, and I love Days of Future Past and God Loves Man Kills, but some of these downtime issues are so flipping great because the character stuff shines forward. We're not worried about moving all these little plots along, and so the artwork is really good here. Get your JR haters out of the chat, Chet, because I do think some of these issues really shine. And so yeah, this is very high ranking for me. I'm gonna give this a 9.6, and I pre-gamed a little tonight, so I'm gonna go a little strong.
A little loose.
I'm gonna say 9.6. But I really loved this. I thought this was
all right. Stu, what about you? What are your final thoughts here, and how would you grade this issue?
Man, John, I'm gonna match you at a 9.6. It's not all the way. It's not like, you know, my like essential X-Men. It's not like that level, that platform of X-Men to me. But this was so good, and how many great character moments for how many different characters did we get in this issue?
Mm-hmm.
And like we said, the art was fantastic. And ultimately, to me, the reason why I love this book at the beginning and why I love it now is it was another chapter in why I trust and love Wolverine. You know, and why I can depend on him. No matter his feral nature or whatever, I feel like he's just one of those guys you can always lean on in the right ways. And this was what another issue and just a few pages that prove that. But I love, like, rereading it now, I love the character work we get with Storm, with Kitty, with Colossus, obviously. I love you know, Juggernaut and Civies. There's just so many great elements to it. And like John said, you know, sometimes the best stuff really is the filler stuff. And I think this is a great example of that. So 9.6 for me. Thank you guys for having me back and doing this the right way.
Man.
This was so much fun. I had so much fun with you guys.
And clearly our chat is so excited that Chet's already misspelling stuff. He's already misspelling stuff now. And it definitely, this is the sentence he wrote for you. And it definitely more about the art than the art.
All right. That's deep.
Spoken like a true poet.
And get your t-shirts. Get your t-shirts.
Yeah. And
we're gonna have that.
And it definitely more. Yeah, it's home run.
So
Chet.
he did give it a 9.6, and I will say, just to clarify,
wait, Chet gave it a 9.6.
I was going to give this a 9.
Wow.
Listen, I was going to give this a 9.8, but seeing that John was in the issue, it does bring it to a 9.6. So I'm with you guys. It's a 9.6 for me as well.
All right.
9.6 is across the board.
Agrees.
Bobby throwing the 9.8 all day.
Bobby's with you there. You know, he's
nice.
I respect the 9.8.
So yeah, good stuff. All right, let's get into the numbers here, then we'll wrap up with some questions and get everybody out of here because I know we got shows coming up. So a couple key elements to issue 183. Juggernaut drops a bar on Colossus. I think that's the key to this whole book. And then of course, Celine appearance pretends to hit on John's kids. The 9.8s fair market value, again, these are based on Go Collect. Fair market value was going for $80 within the last year.
I think Juggernaut's yellow pants cost more than that.
It very well could be. Bro's
got like a 7X. I think that's a fair call. He's definitely that's a lot of fabric there.
Right?
Any of you guys buying this at a 9.8 for $80 or probably not?
I would not want to slab this book. I don't want to stare at the yellow pants. I want to get into the issue and read the story and enjoy what's going on. It's a very good cover, but this is not a book to slab. I don't want to just look at the cover. I want to see the inside. Even though I've got a 9.6 of the very next issue,
I saw that,
which I can't resist these.
Special.
You guys got to know about me when it's a charity auction, and I go into almost all of them when I know there's one going on, and they've got this era of X-Men 9.4s, 9.2s, 9.6s, and they're just like putting them up in lots. I'm gonna buy them all. I've got some stupid 9.4s in my collection that nobody needs to have, but I got them. But yeah, this is a book that I want to open. I want to read it.
I'm with you. I am with
you. Agreed.
And yes, Bobby, you're right.
Chet. Yeah. Chet says he has 2 raw. He said he'll slab 1. There you go.
Yeah, right. I don't believe you.
I love the first fast bar special. I love that line.
Fast bar
Yeah,
Roy,
that's so good.
Roy
Bobby.
Kirk
That's so good.
says, "When Kitty breaking down in her room can bring you to bring a tear to your eye, then the story is a 9.8 for sure." He puts the
There it
artwork
is.
at an 8.5. I think that's fair.
Ouch.
I think
That's a
very
great
fair.
Ouch
rating.
on the
That's a
I think
artwork.
that's fair.
That's a
I think
good
that's a fair
rating.
medium. Yeah, 8.5s are
8.5.
solid. Yeah, I'll take an 8.5 all day. All right. Let's close this out here. Let's get into the questions, and then we'll wrap things up. So, again, if you're not familiar with it, we're going to ask 4 questions tonight. These are all based on last episode or the episode of back on John's channel, whether it was about the issue or about the episode. We are looking for 2 correct answers and 1 funny answer, something that you can make this guy Stu laugh at. Stu, we're going to have choose the funniest answer per question. So 4 people can get in just based on not knowing the answer at all, but just giving us something funny based on what Stu chooses. So,
I love it.
John, I will start off with you. Go ahead.
Awesome. Yeah. So last week was issue 181. Sorry, 2 weeks ago. Issue 181 was a rogue issue. Rogue attacked a shield helicarrier with some special tools. What were her special tools for attacking a shield helicarrier? And I want perfect spelling. And I sent it to Justin exactly the way I want it. And I'm not accepting anything really else other than that. Within reason.
I have fat fingers, so can I accept misspelling? Because I empathize.
I will say, and it's my fault for giving Magic Lasso my cell phone number. He's been texting me this answer almost every day for 2 weeks, asking for points.
He's been ready. Yeah.
He's been hunting down points. JP, I'm not accepting that spelling. I'm not accepting it. Not accepting it.
Don't forget, we're looking for funny ones too. So if you guys do not know the answer,
I don't know about. So I'm giving the first point. I'm supposed to keep track. What am I doing? I can't give the point and then not write it down. I got my board. I got my. This is, by the way, I keep it all in this beautiful Storm journal from Albert Loves Comics.
Shout out to Albert.
It is a beauty, and what better use for it than this?
That's right.
I'm giving the first. Lots of correct answers, but not great spelling. What do we expect from our chat? I'm going to go with Adam makes stuff up is my first correct answer. The Susan B. Anthony dollar coin is acceptable. Dollar, I'll give it to you. Chet, she threw a coin.
I like Magic Lasso's comedic answer. Diana Ross albums laundry.
So, I don't. The one I'm not sure about is Chet's. He wrote Susan B. Anthony $1.
He's really trying.
Yeah,
he is really trying.
Because he got the punctuation and the capitals there, I'll give it to him. But Candace, you were really close. You were really, really close. So I got to give it to Chet. All right. You know, Candace, I'd prefer to give it to you. You know that.
Ryan.
So let's see some other answers.
Yeah. So he's Ryan says Diana Ross albums and Lilandra hair. You got to throw in the
great
Lilandra
choice
hair for sure.
Great choice.
Bobby saying distracted the pilot with her tight ass pants.
I mean, that's a fair move.
Chet said that she flashed the pilot.
There you go.
Altogether. Candace said throwing stars.
Yeah,
she was throwing stars.
Hey, we got Fable. Sorry,
Fable.
Station.
What up, brother?
Fable.
Fable's answer was station. That was his answer.
Oh my god!
A pair of 38
Jackson Records. That'll do it.
Let's see. We all know
JP. Your spelling was a lowercase b. JP, you didn't have a period and you had a lowercase b. Get out of here.
Nope. I'm stricter than Scantron.
If Chet had written that, I would not have given it to him. So
Stu, who do you want to give the funny answer to, or the point?
Funny answer goes to Magic Lasso. I like
there it is.
Lasso.
Creativity went to there.
My first question of the night is: what did Agent Garwood do when he stepped away to his room in private? Last issue, there was a scene where they were torturing their captured person they had there, and at one point, Agent Garwood stepped away to his room in private. What did he do?
Awkward.
He stepped away.
I'm expecting some very awkward answers to this.
I can't wait. I can't wait.
Very much a layup. Very much a
The
layup.
challenge for Justin and I is not only a good trivia question, but a trivia question that can be perverse at the same time, where
Yeah,
answers
right.
can be absolutely derailing our program.
Yes.
That's the challenge. Can you come up with a question that allows duality like that?
And I will say I'll be a little flexible on the answer just for the correct terminology because it's like different ways to do things.
Yo.
Okay. All right. So we're gonna highlight a couple here. So we're gonna start it off with Daryl.
Love that one.
Daryl said that he made a
Y'all
sandwich.
shut up for this one.
Bobby Delicato.
Y'all
shut up for this
Oh
one.
my God, Bobby. Took a bump.
Bobby says took a bump. Stepped out to take a bump.
Oh my God, Bobby.
Adam makes it up, says that he had to take a phone call with his mom.
Oh my God.
Could very much be so. JP, yes, that could
Bobby's-
could be the answer as well. Daryl said, "Pull the slab switcheroo."
There you go. There you go.
Classic switcheroo. Ryan said he did the dance with no pants.
Oh my goodness.
Verno said can't answer. Children in the room.
That's fair. That's fair. That's why you wear earbuds. You got earbuds all day.
Exactly. Yo, we got Nigel in the chat. What up, Nigel? My Ravens brother. I'll be seeing you this weekend, man. See you at the game this weekend. Let's see. Okay, so
it was the 80s. That's why he did a bump.
Yeah, Nigel's like, what did I just walk into?
God. So good.
Okay, all right. So as far as correct answers go,
yes,
I'm going to go with Chet here. So
all right.
He stepped out.
This guy.
And he calls Sebastian Shaw and Emma.
Look at all the capitals.
He did say Emma Friday though. Hold on.
Isn't that her name? Oh, it's Emma Frost.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
I don't know if I can accept this answer.
You just said Sebastian Shaw, so you know.
There you go.
Called Shaw and Frost.
I'll take that. I'll take that. So chat, and then I think the next one I'm going to go with here is Colossus Collector, because he is reporting in. So I'm.
That's his first your first time on the list, there, Mr. Colossus Collector.
Nice. All right. So
and I've been catching up on his content lately. So thank you for coming by and enjoying what we're doing too, my man.
Same. All right, cool. So Ryan said he warmed up his Rachel dinners.
Ryan, I'm still disappointed that I didn't get a Susan B. Anthony answer you've been sending me for 2 weeks, and you didn't even write one in this time. Last question, so I'm shocked. I'm stunned.
Stu, what is your choice here between funny incorrect answers? Because there's a lot.
Oh man, I got to go to my man Bobo with the historical evidence to back it up. He definitely did so. You know, wow.
I picture a room with Michelle Pfeiffer and Al Pacino from Scarface, and they're just doing
a lot of mirrors. A lot of mirrors.
A mountain
of
those shield agents keep it tight.
Good. All right, John, your next question.
Yeah. So we met Agent Michael Rossi in the last issue, and he shield agent undercover helping Professor Xavier and apparently Nick Fury. But we also learned that he has a very strange superpower. What superpower did we figure out? Apparently, Michael Rossi has. Yeah. This is a trick question based on comedy from John. And ultimately, I apparently mentioned it again this evening. So, what power does Michael Rossi have? Oh, goodness.
Rejecting women, Chet says. Ryan says he can sing just like Diana. Rossi. Oh,
nailed it. Well played.
Nice little add-on there, Ryan. Nice little add-on.
It's possible nobody gets this answer correct,
sure.
Which is fine with me because I'm still salty about it. It's so salty, clearly I mentioned it again tonight.
Yes, that's right. You do.
I'm already going to give it to those two.
All right, there you go. Yeah, JP, he can punch Rogue hard enough to hurt her. Yep. And then
he's got the superpower that he can backhand Rogue and not feel any bad effects and yet knock her down.
Yeah.
I'm salty about this, folks. I'm salty that he was able to hit Rogue and she would feel it and he wouldn't.
Right.
Unacceptable.
Slap the
Right.
ish.
So there you go.
All right, not as many to choose from, Stu, but funny answer for this.
Chet got it. Rejecting
here.
women, you know, it's
Chet.
it's metaphorical. I like it.
Going with Chet. Yep, absolutely. All right, last question of the evening here, and it's going to be last. Okay, so again, this was on John's channel, last episode, official episode, not the one that we canceled last week. What was last episode sponsored by? Several times throughout the show, I kept saying that the show was sponsored by something. It was me, John, and Tony.
Yep.
Old Wolf 65 was our
If
guest.
Old Wolf was here, he'd be able to get this, but I don't think he's in the chat tonight.
Right. There was something that we kept saying. This show is brought to you in part by blank. What was the answer to that? See, man, Chet, you knew it was coming. He said, I knew it was coming. I told everybody this could be a question. This could be
and he didn't write the answer down, but he could write all that.
Rookie move, Chat. Rookie move. JP said he makes a mean sandwich. You know, AOL, no, wait, that was last week.
Definitely not AOL.
Let's see. What was
Brother John? What's going on, buddy?
Hey, what's going on, Brother John? Good to see you.
He says I'm gonna say or something. I mean, yeah, clearly you were in Cliff's chat. That happened. They said I was part of the League of Extraordinary Johns, and I was like, that sounds like the wrong group to be a part of.
Bobby says Old Wolf's favorite drink is what we were sponsoring the show.
I mean, that's fair.
Ryan says Sears, where America shops. Oscar Mayer Deli Meats, Daryl says.
Possible.
Oh,
Candace. Slay, Candace. Slay. So good. This chat, man. This chat.
All right. I don't know. Should I get? I mean, I don't think this might be one of those questions.
Legitimately, folks, don't be mad at yourselves. I had to correct Justin.
Yes, he did. I sent John the answer, and later we talked about it. And John's like, "Wasn't it this?"
I don't think it was that. I think it was this, and then yeah.
So funny. Crown Royal. Adam says brought to you by Lagos paper towels for when you make a mess you didn't mean to. Okay, I'm gonna just go ahead and say the correct answer that we were looking for. Give it one more second here. Just that's Eric's in the chat. Side Quest Comics. Hello. All right, so the correct answer was ink, paper,
printer ink.
Printer ink.
Go to your local Staples.
No one had it. Yeah, and it was because Tony had printer ink. He kept raising it, and we were talking about the purples and the pinks backgrounds. We were talking about how, like, why are all these pages the same? After a while, it got to be a little much. It looked like we didn't know if they were running out of ink. So that was what that was. Bobby says Lego. That's certainly what we are. We are definitely sponsored by Lego. So, all right. Nice. Stu, any answer here that you particularly like the most? I might have missed some. Ryan said Cape Cod fish sticks.
I like the 1-2 combo of Daryl's Oscar Mayer Deli Meats and Candace's the letter D. I think those two are.
All right, so since we didn't have a correct answer, let's give each of them one. We're gonna give Daryl.
Can we do that?
Candace. Okay. Yes, let's do it. Good call.
So Candace and who? What was the other one?
Daryl.
Oscar Mayer Deli Meats.
You got it.
Yeah, the letter D definitely felt like
nicely done. All right, gang. Look at that. Only an hour and 23 minutes, and we were shortened, and somehow I still managed to make it almost an hour and a half. But that's just because I'm good like that. You know what I'm saying? I'm good like that. It's been a blast hanging out with you, Stu, talking comics with you.
Likewise,
so we appreciate you being here. Definitely have to have you on the channel again sometime. Again, anybody who is not following Stu, make sure you do so. I put his information in the description below. Dr. Doom's fan club. So thanks, Stu, for being with us.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you guys so much for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. And we're going to be over on JP's channel, so be ready for that. And of course, make sure you're following John if you're not already, because we'll be on John's channel next Tuesday at 9:00 Eastern. So until then, I think we're going to wrap it up. So until next time, we will talk to you later. Peace.
Yeah. Peace.